You're not actually behind, but your phone can make it feel like you are. One scroll and suddenly everyone your age is richer, healthier, prettier, more successful, more loved, and somehow already living the life you thought you were supposed to have by now. Someone just bought an apartment. Someone started a company. Someone is traveling again. Someone is getting engaged. Someone is changing their body, changing their career, changing their entire life. And you're sitting there, looking at your own life, wondering why it feels like it is moving too slowly. Not stopped, just late. That feeling is easy to mistake for truth. You tell yourself you should be doing more. You should be further ahead. You should have figured it out by now. You should be more disciplined, more focused, more ambitious, more impressive. But what if the feeling is not proof that you are behind? What if it is proof that you are being rushed? For most of human history, comparison had limits. You compared yourself to people around you: family, neighbors, classmates, a few people in your town. The scale was small and the information was incomplete. You did not know what thousands of strangers your age were doing every day. You did not watch people announce every achievement in real time. You did not see curated fragments of other people's lives while you were lying in bed, tired, vulnerable, and alone with your thoughts. Now, comparison has no natural ending. There is always someone richer, someone more attractive, someone more productive, someone more confident, someone who seems calmer, healthier, smarter, more certain. And because your brain is not designed to process thousands of lives at once, it does something understandable. It combines them. It takes the career of one person, the body of another, the relationship of another, the money of another, the confidence of another, and the lifestyle of another, and turns them into one impossible person. Then you compare your one real life to that imaginary life. And of course, you lose. Because you are not comparing yourself to a person. You are comparing yourself to a collage. This is why modern comparison feels so heavy. It does not always feel like jealousy. Sometimes it feels like urgency, the pressure to hurry, to fix yourself faster, to become impressive sooner, to turn your life into proof that you are not wasting it. But whose timeline are you trying to prove yourself against? Who decided when your life is supposed to look successful? There are invisible deadlines everywhere. You are supposed to know what you want early, build early, make money early, look good early, heal early, find purpose early, become confident early. And somehow, while doing all of that, you are also supposed to be relaxed, grateful, and present. The contradiction is exhausting, because the same world that tells you to enjoy your life keeps showing you reasons to believe your life is not enough yet. So you push. You consume more advice. You make plans you are too tired to follow. You try to optimize your morning, your body, your money, your personality, your future. You buy the course, the planner, the better outfit, the new phone, the gym membership, the life upgrade. Not because those things are always bad, but because sometimes the purchase is not really about the object. It is about trying to close the gap between who you are and who you feel pressured to become. And that gap is profitable. Platforms profit when you keep comparing. Brands profit when you feel almost good enough. Productivity culture profits when rest feels like falling behind. Influencer culture profits when ordinary life feels embarrassing. The system does not need you to hate yourself completely. It only needs you to feel slightly unfinished. Just unfinished enough to keep scrolling. Just insecure enough to keep improving. Just anxious enough to keep buying. Just rushed enough to confuse movement with direction. And then, when you get exhausted, the blame turns inward. You ask, why can't I be consistent? Why am I so lazy? Why do I always start over? Why can't I just focus? But sometimes the problem is not that you lack ambition. Sometimes your nervous system is tired from being constantly measured against lives you were never meant to see. You are trying to build a life while being interrupted by thousands of signals telling you it should already look different. That does not mean comparison is always useless. Sometimes comparison can reveal what you want. It can show you possibilities. It can point toward a life you did not know was available. But comparison becomes dangerous when it stops being information and becomes identity. When someone else's success becomes evidence of your failure. When someone else's timeline becomes a weapon against your own. When your life starts feeling late simply because you saw someone else arrive somewhere earlier. The truth is, there is no single timeline. Some people build early and collapse later. Some people look successful while feeling completely empty. Some people spend years lost before becoming clear. Some people move slowly because they are carrying things other people cannot see. And some seasons of life are not about acceleration. They are about repair, stabilizing, learning, surviving, becoming honest, becoming less performative, becoming someone who can actually hold the life they are trying to build. You cannot always measure that from the outside. You cannot always post it. You cannot always turn it into proof, but it still counts. So maybe the better question is not, why am I behind? Maybe the better question is, behind what? Behind a stranger's highlight reel? Behind a cultural script? Behind a version of yourself you invented while feeling ashamed? Behind a life that looks good online but would not actually feel good to live? Because being rushed is not the same as being guided, and pressure is not the same as purpose. The goal is not to stop wanting more. Wanting more can be healthy. It can be alive. It can pull you toward growth. But there is a difference between desire that comes from your values and urgency that comes from comparison. One feels like direction. The other feels like panic. And if you do not learn to tell the difference, you may spend years chasing a life that was never really yours. So the next time you feel behind, pause before you believe it. Ask what triggered the feeling. Ask whose life you just compared yours to. Ask whether the pressure is pointing towards something meaningful or simply punishing you for being human at your own pace. You are not behind because your life is not identical to someone else's edited version of theirs. You are not failing because your path is taking longer than the timeline you absorbed from the internet. You are not late to a life that is actually yours. But you may be rushed by a world that profits every time you mistake comparison for direction. And the question is not whether you are behind. The question is, who taught you where you were supposed to be by now?